Indiana State football fall camp coverage is brought to you by U.S. Lawn, the official lawn care provider of Sycamore Athletics.
Oh yeah, I know the guys are ready, and I know they're excited. Obviously, like you said, Luke, it's been a long time coming, and there's been a lot of preparation that's gone into it. And I think the guys are finally glad that game week's finally here and it's upon us because it's time to roll.
It's one of those phrases we say all the time, and it can sometimes maybe sound like a broken record, but the expectation at the position, just looking up today, Indiana State's had an all-conference linebacker every year since 2016. How does that expectation in the room really lift guys, maybe even a guy like Kelvin Broom, who's been here all that time, but he's been around a lot of talented guys, and now know guys like him are going to get an opportunity?
No question. I mean, like you said, there's been a number of good players that have come before and gone on and had opportunities at the next level, which has obviously been awesome, and set the standard and expectation and the bar for the level of play in the room very high. And I think we talk about very consistently of let's continue to elevate that. Let's not be satisfied with just being guys that play roles on the team, and let's go out there and elevate the linebacker standard at Indiana State, and let's leave our own mark on Indiana State football and the level of play that we play at.
What stood out about your group through fall camp and now in the first couple of days that you've had in terms of preparing for Eastern Illinois?
I think the biggest thing for me that I've been happy with as we've gone through fall camp here is just the dedication and hunger to get better every day. I think a lot of guys have embraced the opportunities when they've gotten them out on the field, and I think it's been extremely important that we've come to work every day with the mentality to get better, and I think the guys have really embraced that, and you saw it show up through fall camp. It's just been getting 1% better each day.
That 1% better each day, you really need leadership within the room. What has Kelvin Broom really shown over the last year to kind of be deserving of one of those leaders within your room?
No question. Kelvin's, obviously a tremendous leader in our room in terms of being a guy that sets the example for doing the right things all the time, being where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there, and kind of being that guy, again, that shows that consistency every day, day in and day out of what he brings out on the football field and what his teammates can expect from him. And then you look at another guy like Matt Thompson. He's played with fanatical effort on the field. Any effort clip that you put up there at Matt Thompson, it's an example for those younger guys of how we play football and how we run to the ball and how important it is to get out there and have opportunities to play. So I think both those guys have done a tremendous job in leading from that aspect, and I know they've been very vocal with the young guys, bringing them along as well, so it's been good to see.
You brought up Matt. It was clear when he was named the team captain, the room exploded. No There's so many guys that love him. What is it about him that just draws guys to him from your perspective, now being able to coach him over the last year?
His enthusiasm is so infectious. Like I said earlier, every time he steps on the field, the guy plays with tremendous energy, plays with tremendous effort. And I think his teammates recognize that, and they see it, and they have a lot of respect for it. And I think that's ultimately one of the reasons that he was named team captain, is because he's a guy that they knew was going to be that guy day in and day out. And, again, he brings energy and juice to everything he does.
The youth in your room has started to show some promise too. Guys like Jeffrey Brown, Jaron Johnson has been getting really good reps. How has the last year for those guys, that they've been here in the weight room, getting bigger, stronger, in sense of the differences you've seen in them and just a year ago at this time to obviously now?
No question. They've come night and day. Even looking at what we were at in the spring with some of those guys and where they're at now and the confidence that they're playing with, the speed at which they're playing, the communication that's gone up. It's just, you can tell that this last year of getting those reps and being able to be around our program and the way we do things is just instilled that confidence of them when they're out on the field. And then again, that's where it gets in the conversation of expectation of the position. It's the next guy in, and the next man up has got to be the best linebacker on the field. So I think they've embraced that. They both changed their bodies tremendously and worked really hard, like you said, in the weight room and in the offseason as well. But you can tell the level of play out there is starting to elevate, which is good to see.
Even though you weren't here, it was clear to see the difference kind of year one to year two for a guy like Clayton Glasgow, who came in from junior college to here. Even though Heath didn't necessarily get to play in the fall and have those in-game reps, how's he made that transition from JUCO, same school where Clayton came from, to now? And I know he's been trying to get healthy. That's been a big part for him. But when he's been out there, it seems like he's brought a lot of valuable tangibles that you can see.
Yeah, another guy that has just grown so tremendously over this last year. And you can tell his comfort in what we're doing and his understanding of what we're doing has continued to increase day by day. And as we've gone through this progression of fall practices to spring practices to now our fall camp here, it's been clear that he feels comfortable out there and he feels confident in what he's doing. And he's got a feel of how we do things as a program and everything that comes along with that as well. So he's been another guy that's stepped up into some of those leadership roles in our room, and he's done a tremendous job with it.
There's times where I forget Davion Higgs used to be a running back. I'll be talking to you. Remember, Luke, I was a running back when I first got here. But he's always been a name we have said countless times on a broadcast when he's been in a game. What's the next step for him to kind of be more of kind of a guy that can shoulder a big part of the load at the linebacker spot.
Yeah, no question. And, Davion Higgs is a guy I look at that I think I've seen some of his best ball throughout this fall camp. The way he's played, the urgency in which he's played with, the physicality in which he's played with. He's playing at his highest level. And, the conversation that we've had is just continue to do that day in and day out and consistently be that guy. And he's a guy that can do it. So it's something that, again, as we go through the season, he'll be a guy that we count on in several aspects, and it'll be exciting to get him out there.
Where do you feel your depth is at linebacker from your perspective? I'm sure as a coach, you're never always going to bed at night sleeping with ease. But in terms of even guys, I haven't brought up David Whittemore yet, who got experience back in 2019. Where do you feel you're at in terms of the depth at linebacker?
I think it's been one of the things that has come along probably the most as we've gone through spring ball and now into fall camp is the number of guys that are starting to play at a level at which they can go in a game and be able to perform. And that's built depth in the room, and that's built depth as a unit. And, I know Coach talked about it a couple weeks ago of building your unit to be as strong as it can be, not just your starters, and then all of a sudden, what's after that. And I think a lot of guys have embraced that role, and guys that, may see themselves as a 2 or 3 on the depth chart, it's, hey, I could be the next man up just as easily. And so I think guys have embraced that, and they've really attacked that, and I think that's been good for our room.
I know it's about the guys, and you guys as coaches don't really talk about what it means to you personally because it is about your athletes who you coach. But what will this week just be like for you leading into your first ever game day here? And what do you think your emotions will be like when game day is back after a year of it being taken away?
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you take for granted when you're used to season in and season out, always being there, and then all of a sudden you don't get to play through a year. And I know that took a toll on the guys. It took a toll on us as well because, that's something that you grow up with. From a young kid to all the way up being a coach, it's you play football in the fall. And so I think that there's a lot of excitement for this Saturday, and there's been a lot of anticipation that's built up for it. But the biggest thing for us is just continue to stay composed and continue to play to a point where we're peaking on game day on Saturday and playing our best ball.